Welcome to the Archotechs, a RimWorld fluid ideology series about pursuing the Archonexus. Episode 11, Swift Ascension. To briefly recap last episode, the vast majority of the time was spent dealing with this specific quest. For 8 honor, we accepted to take care of Aladdin, a little Yorkie, for 23 hours, and in those 23 hours, we were going to get raided 3 times by mechanoids. Once from the west, once from the north, and once from the east. Once it was clear that we won the fight against the mechanoids, what I decided to do was to take the 5 champions that I was given by the Empire of the Moon, the Shadowed Empire, and march them around the pikemen until they collapsed from pain from being headbutted by the pikemen. That way, I can build up my goodwill. One of the methods of building up goodwill is to release rescued people, and that is exactly what I intend to do. I knocked them all out so that I could get the goodwill. And the reason being, because of our supremacist meme, we have very terrible natural relationships with other factions, which means it's going to be very difficult for us to have meaningful alliances. So, in order to try to fix some of our alliance problems, it definitely makes sense to do all that I can to exploit the goodwill, which also means that the festivals, or rather which one does goodwill? The animal sacrifice, I think? No, Burning Alliance, that's it. The Burning Alliance, I should do often to try to build up some goodwill with neighbors. So, well, once Trustin is a little bit more recovered, we'll have a bit of a flag burning, I guess. Another thing I'd like to try to do this episode is to get the Acolyte throne room ready, because Sven's going to need a throne room, and then Sven's also going to need another bedroom, but that one's coming. I'm going to watch Parsos die to this mech cluster. I highly doubt he'll make it out. I did receive one comment from Alex, which was, it would make a lot of sense to use nutrient paste for my slaves, and I totally agree. So I'm going to get a nutrient paste dispenser once Trustin is conscious. And he's dead. You collapsed and died. Alright, I'm having my slaves help feed the prisoners here while I patch them up. Sven's gonna get a whole lot of medical tending, I think. Let's clean the blood. Cleaning the blood is helpful because it reduces infection chance. The more clean the room is, the lower your chance for infection. I'm surprised that I managed to get 3 of them downed. That is definitely going to be helpful in faction. Oh, I guess the mechs weren't done with me. This is a very small raid. 1 termite, 2 scythers, 2 lancers. The problem is I don't exactly have any shield belted anyone to be able to help defend. Oh, well. I do, however, have Bunny with the... Oh, no, she used up her City Lance, that's right. Okay, well, this will be spicier, I suppose. And these guys are breachers, because that's all you ever get attacked by nowadays. Breachers gotta breach. Alright, I think what I'm gonna do is Slave 4, as I'm sure most of you will remember, was the one that punched Bunny in the nose. So I'm gonna use Slave 4 as a... Oh, there we go. I'm gonna use Slave 4 as a bit of a cannon fodder. I honestly don't want to get shredded by these mechs, so cannon fodder it is. Unfortunately, those that are wounded have to get up. We have no rest. No rest for the wicked. So I'm turning on my turrets here, but the turrets aren't going to hold up very long against mechanoids, especially breach mechanoids. So, and it's also nighttime, which is the worst time to be attacked by mechs. So I'm trying to get the turrets here to bait out the shots. Oh man, that is going to get destroyed so quickly. Alright, that turret is one away from going pop. It would be most excellent if, oh, now I'm being shot at. Let's get the turret back on. Zleb is... Here, let me just stand my ground. Definitely the right move. Alright, that one's down. This is, closer than I'd like it to be. Slave 4 is getting a bit of a beat down here against the Lancer. The Termite is gone. Slave 2 just got shot. Pinky is gone. I'm closing the distance with these slaves here so that the Lancers can no longer... Here, let me turn off my turrets. The Lancers can no longer shoot. And then we're gonna get real close and finish them off. And Tribespeople of Fortune, I'll take a look at that in just a second. So Slave 4, have you learned your lesson not to punch Bunny? I think you have. Hopefully. Alright, Sven, you tend Trustin. Bunny, you tend Slave 2. Slave 2's bleeding a lot, and then Trustin needs to go straight to the bed. Well, all I managed to lose was a single limestone wall, so in the scheme of things, that could have been a lot worse. And if I check enemies here, yeah, there's no more enemies. That's good. Alright, so the Tribespeople of Fortune. I get 4 elite mercenaries under my control that I have to feed and house and shelter, and then I get attacked by swarms of tribespeople. I might accept it, but I'm gonna wait probably until everybody's healed up, so if I am accepting it, it's not anytime soon. So 5 mech attacks in 24 hours, or rather 4 mech attacks in 24 hours. Yeah, that seems reasonable, I guess. Thanks, Cassandra. Quite the classic. So Trustin, despite having to fight, did not get too much of a buildup of sickness, which is great. And then I'm going to tend him again by hand. I'm going to have to watch his immunity gain because I'm not using real medicine, which is a bit risky. And then another thing I'm going to want to do is, with any constructor that is capable of constructing, repair the turrets there, because 6.4% is not much of a turret left. And we're hauling all the mech corpses in. I'd also like to plan out a little project here to have a retaining wall. So, a wall that keeps our crops safe, something like that. Alright, I do have the moisture pump research done. So another thing that I want to set up sort of immediately, because it takes a long time to work, is a moisture pump for the parts of the base that are, you know, soft sand. So those 2 moisture pumps are the most important, and then eventually get the rest of it gone too. all the stuff that's in our walls. No, I'm even going to get Trustin out of the hospital bed to start to work on moisture pumps. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to have Slave 1 deliver the materials and then have Trustin build it. No, skill's too low. What skills are required? 5? 6? I don't think anyone is 6. Yeah, only Trustin. Okay. There's another obvious problem here, which is that if the rescued guests of mine decide to exit eastwards, they are going to just walk straight into the mech cluster, just like Parsos did, and die. So another thing that I want to do is try to get that mech cluster dealt with, so that that isn't a possibility, that we can't lose all this goodwill to a mech cluster that just pops them out of existence. Zaleb literally can't construct because of the role that she's in. Noted. But fully healed, so that's good. Alright, Zleb's going to deliver the rest of the materials for the other moisture pump. And then here comes Trustin. As far as the repairs go, we'll get that underway with really anyone. It doesn't really matter. So Slave 4, I'm going to have you go do it. Alright, there's the moisture pumps. Now the other thing about these moisture pumps is they are going to attract danger, at least the one outside. So I'm going to have to wall it in like that with wooden walls, which is unfortunate because I really want to maximize the amount of wood I have, but losing a moisture pump would be sad, especially one where it's causing my walls to be wooden. Alright, Bunny is at a bit of a major break situation because of sacrificed mostly. Yeah, I don't feel bad about that though. I did what had to be done. Trustin's infection is 86% progressed, so likely he'll be fine. He has the medical emergency because of it's hit 80%, but his immunity's higher. He does, however, require tending to. And again, I'm not going to tend with medicine, just good old-fashioned manual tending. We're going to finish up harp research so that I can get a bit of a throne room that meets the requirements. And Slave 4 just finished repairing that mini turret. That took quite some time. Alright, let me turn off the terrain affordance overlay. Don't need that anymore. Alright, Trustin's up. Trustin's good. So one of the first things I'm going to want to do is to get that smoke launcher made. But I'm just going to shred some mechanoids real quick before I do that. Because there's so many mechanoids that are right here. Gonna hit production command. So the smoke launcher is going to allow me to clear this out. So that A, I can get the acolyte rank, and B, that my guests don't get cut down. Or at least a lower chance to get cut down. Alright, Trustin needs to recreate because he's about to go crazy. And Bunny, unfortunately, is the one that would do the counseling. But one thing I might be able to do is to have Bunny attend the Burning Alliance ceremony to try to fix her mood. Because there's really not much I can do about... that's not true. I can fix the darkness debuff Malice by putting her in this research room and then putting Sven in this bedroom. So now, at least she's not in darkness. Oh, yeah, they're on permanent sleep schedules. I forgot about that. That brings me to another point where I can issue for her to recreate full-time. And that should help out a little bit as well. All right, Trustin's going to come off of the high-priority bed rest. And this is a visitor who decided to walk into the mech cluster. That mech cluster has gotten so many random people killed. It is rather hilarious. And some pigs joined. Well, I suppose we're eating bacon. Let me go ahead and put the pen marker. And then Zleb historically was our animal handler. So Zleb, you can go round them up. All right, Bunny is about to have like a mental break. What I'm gonna do is set her on 100% recreation. And have her just relax. Her mood should recover and get her out of the extreme break risk. Alright, Harp is now researched. Taking a look at what else. Tree sowing might be good for the wood that I need. I could also grow fiber corn and hydroponics if I really needed to. Solar. I think I'm going to go solar. We've had some brownouts, and getting solar would definitely fix the brownout situation. Alright. So, if you're wondering, yeah, the reason I'm not keeping animals, I live in a desert, and there just isn't a reliable, decent source of food to feed the animals, right? I mean, I do have one farm, but this farm is feeding me and not the animals, so... Alright, it's going to be smoke launcher time. Wow, I can't get Trustin to focus on this. There we go. Smoke launcher time. Although his recreation is terrible, but at least he's in a better mood. That -20 hurting him, though. We have a lot of these weapons that are biocoded. Not all of them are biocoded, but most of them are biocoded, or most of the good ones. And we're going to want to melt those down. Also, Sven, I'm going to have you grab the better SMG that hasn't been claimed by anyone. Alright, so with the smoke launcher, probably tomorrow morning, I will go ahead and clear out that mech cluster. And it's an excellent quality smoke launcher. This weapon bears an illustration of Trustin inscribing his name on a duster while wiping the sweat from his forehead. The duster is intricately detailed. The image somehow expresses both camaraderie and thirst. Yeah, that makes sense in the desert. Alright, Bonnie is out of the worst of the mood breaks, so I'm going to have her go back to sort of a normal schedule. And she is going to dye her hat her favorite color. I don't think this will help much, but she's already wearing enough of her favorite color that she's happy. But hey, every little bit counts. And new lovers. Okay, well, I don't really care. Sidones and Tussock are guests. And, yeah, okay. Well. Congrats, I guess. Oh, this harvesting is very sad to see. I think instead of wasting all the crop, I'm just going to have Slave 5 do it. Because these Slave 2 and 3 are just honestly righteously terrible at that. Alright, so they're back to stone cutting. Looks to me like I have enough limestone that I'm going to open stone cutting up to any block. I don't really care. Likely it will be sandstone. And one of the things I want to do with the sandstone is sandstone up the slave room so they track in less sand into the bedroom. Or into the building. Alright, Trustin should be completely over his infection, and he is. And then the next things I need to do is to set up a throne for him. Like a limestone throne, perhaps? And then also make a harp. Oh, group of travelers coming in. Oh, look at you. They might clear it for me. Maybe. Okay. Fancy that. I wasn't expecting that, but that's great. So, schedule. Unrestricted for my colonists. And then slaves, I still have to fix their zoning because they're not allowed into the weapon room, so just paint this back. Cool. That's fantastic. Any of these guys, you might collapse, Villa. And you're from West Hinia? Okay, I could perhaps rescue her so that I get some reputation, or goodwill rather. We'll see. Oh, and a psychic drone female. Well, alright, Bunny. You know how I just took you off for recreation? I lied about that. Also, we shouldn't be hauling random animal corpses here, so let me turn animal corpses off of that zone. That's just for humans. Okay, the solar power will definitely help with the rather constant brownouts. Because every time the wind goes low, I get brownouts. And Villa needs rescue. Alright, so Villa needs rescue. We'll go ahead and set up a bed for that. Luckily, the slaves are the ones getting food sick, not me. And she's tantruming, punching random furniture. Okay, well, the catharsis will help, I suppose. And then I'll do the flag burning ceremony as soon as this tantrum is over. Good progress here on the throne room, though. So let's go ahead and stick a crafting spot. And we are going to want to make a harp with Trustin. Now, harps require a lot of wood. So another thing I might want to do is to cut a few more trees down. Solar has been researched. Okay. Let's get shields. I think shields are going to be really important to try to have the slaves more effective in taking down mechanoids and the like. Alright, I like that spot. No, Villa did not survive. I was rescuing her with Bunny and then sort of forgot, and oh well. Bunny decided to just punch furniture instead of save someone. Alright, Slave 5 has cut down a whole lot of trees for us. and we'll haul that wood in. Now, Slave 2 has a bit of a mood. The Psychic Drone and the Chemical Starvation, yeah, there's not much I can do about either of those. I'm not going to give drugs to slaves. That's not what I'm about. But I might have Trustin micromanaged to set up some solar. And then, if I'm setting up solar, I'm going to need some additional steel, because those panels cost a bit. Just looking around the map. I think this is probably the closest steel. Now these panels are worthless without cables that actually connect them to the grid. So we'll get those up too. And now I have a smoke launcher for later, for when I have future mech clusters. Which is kind of nice, if you ask me. So with the new solar, we should have fewer brownouts. We also have an exotic goods trader flying overhead, which is great because I have some Thrumbahorn to sell. So I don't know if I'm going to have a lot that they care about, but at least the Thrumbahorn is something. So Sven, let's go ahead and move the orbital trade beacon over here with the battery. Sell the Thrumbahorn and then sell whatever else is in the stockpile that they'd care to have, which is to say maybe the... yeah, really not much at all. Now, eventually I should set up a weapons stockpile that's closer and more convenient, and I intend to. So in the aesthetic nose, immuno enhancer, don't care about either of those. Jump packs wouldn't be terrible, but they're a little bit out of my price range. Maybe a shock lance for security, and that looks to be about all I can afford to buy on my paltry budget. And I'll have Bunny force equip the shock lance once she's up. Alright, Sven, you're not quite done though. Once you're done eating... let's see, what else can I interest them in? The packaged survival meals. That's really strange. Why did it drop there? I have space above my base. Well, who knows? Alright, we definitely don't want this to be a home zone. I just watched them clean pointlessly. Alright, so now Bunny has that shock lance. Taking a look at this quest here. That's a pretty sizable raid. That's probably more than I want to deal with given the rewards are really not great. So I'm going to turn that down. Alright, taking a look at Trustin. I can't believe these guys have not yet left. I could kick them out of their beds, but given what I did with them, I'll let them have their stay. So now Trustin is working on the harp, and as you can see, it takes a bit of effort because we have to haul the wood from everywhere. And another thing that I wanted to do was tile this up with the sandstone that these slaves have been cutting, so I'll get that done. So here goes Sidones. Not in one piece, he's missing a lung and a toe, but he's alive. And soon the rest of them should be heading on out as well. Yeah, here goes Basina. And then the rest. Alright, so the power looks great. One thing that I could do is to add some additional batteries and set up different grids for those batteries, but I'm going to wait for that until I have a little bit more steel in the base, because we're very strapped for steel at the moment. But the harp is made. Where did you put the harp? There it is. Excellent harp. Oh, I didn't even have the cable built. Powering up nothing. All right, I think what I'll go ahead and do is set up a limestone grand meditation throne. Initially, Sven will only require a regular one, but eventually he'll want a grand one, so I might as well just go for the grand one now, rather than have to build two of them. All right, so this shelf here has tea and beer on it. And yeah, all looks well. Let me get rid of the plans here that sort of showed the radius of the Met cluster, and now that's gone. And then Trustin is getting their barracks a little bit nicer. That's not the intent. The intent is to reduce filth. But a little bit nicer is fine as a net result. Alright, the amount of wood that I have in the base here is really bad. So, after I finish researching shields, I might want to pivot and grab some tree sowing, because these potatoes are about to be harvestable, or not about, but soon to be harvestable, and we're going to want a more regular, reliable source of wood. And because of our supremacy meme, it's probably that wood is not going to come from trading. I could run caravans out to the Empire of the Moon for wood once I have a little bit more rank. I need the rank of Knight or Dame to be able to trade with them. So that's a possibility, but that's not going to be for a little bit. Alright, Tussock and Rusmos. Still waiting on them. They're close. They're very close. I'm not even sure I was given goodwill for these guys, actually. So this was a bit of a waste. Hold on, let me just kick them out. For prisoners and... For prisoners. Just leave. Today I learned. Thought I was gaming the system, but the system gamed me. Alright, let's try to hit the goal now of getting that rank. So now Trustin's going to stop what he's doing and head for the throne. You know what? I'm going to change the color of this throne. The slate throne. It's going to look a lot more fitting. Did I just make it limestone again? No. Okay, slate. Yep. Who keeps trying to interact with this gold? There we go. Alright, yeah, that's better. Alright, once the steel's hauled back, we can also consider using some of that steel for extra batteries. Although I don't have a ton of components, so that brings me to another thing that I should do, is to tap the map tile for its components. And here comes the throne. And before I do anything else, let's go ahead and kick off the flag burning. The Burning Alliance ritual. I think it was about time. It's kind of overdue. I do have 1 day left on the ritual for the Archic Invitation, which could yield a recruit. So my relationship went up by 10 with the Empire of the Moon. Good. And the ritual room is now cleaned. Shields have been researched. Let's go and get tree sowing. I hope that's as hopeful or helpful as I hope it to be. Another thing that's long overdue. Ooh, you are eating my crops, aren't you? Another thing that's long overdue is the nutrient paste. And I probably need to do some hunting as well, as the meat in this colony is getting a little thin. So I'm going to have Zleb and Sven go do that. Now once I have a big batch of potatoes, that's going to be quite helpful. I don't need to worry too much about that, but don't have the potatoes yet. And I can just leave the animals shot and killed like that, and I'll have the slaves go fetch it. It's like a fox hunt. So I'm not going to tag them for hunting. And let's hope that they haul it fast enough, and I'm gonna have these guys go home for the night. Yeah, it seems like they're doing a good job of hauling. Alright, so this is going to become a cornfield. So Slave 5 will start to sow corn. And Trustin didn't quite get to the point where, ooh, Slave 5, inspired creativity. I don't think that's helpful. Nope. Not really. No art, no construction, barely any craft. Gonna go ahead and say, can't ignore. So for slag, I'm gonna have the slaves be able to melt down slag. I thought I had a slag queue, but I didn't. So we'll get that going on. And here comes the corn. So, for soil that isn't fertile, potatoes or corn are probably the best way to go. Rice is really effective in fertile soil, but less effective in normal or low fertility soil. Potatoes are the best for low fertility soil, like stony soil. But then corn's ideal is the amount of work for yield, because potatoes you have to put more in the ground often, whereas corn has to sit in the ground. So for, oh, a royal tribute collector. Oh, this is very, very exciting. I've been waiting for one of you. All right, before we give the royal tribute, where is Slave 4? I think what is going to happen here is I'm going to keep you. That's for the black eye. I like how I knocked him out. Alright, so I am going to give up all slaves except for Slave 5, who is the good farmer, for 12 honor. And now, Sven can become a praetor. Which means that all of these slaves here are really no longer my property and no longer my problem. I don't have to feed them. I don't have to house them. Don't have to care at all. I'm keeping Slave 5 for 2 reasons, and you are now promoted to Slave 1. 1, he is the only one that can sow Devil Strand, and 2, because of our ideology, we want slaves in the colony, so I don't ever want to be at a point where I have 0 slaves. So even though I don't intend to keep him long term, due to the fact that he's 77 years old and has a lot of health issues, I do want to to keep at least a slave, no matter what. Which reminds me, I should make a shield belt with Trustin once he's done. So for a Praetor ceremony, I am going to ascend with 2 levels of Psylink, which is kind of awesome. So I'm jumping from Yeoman to Praetor. So Yeoman is just after Freeholder. So jumping up to Praetor means that I have attained Knight and Dame, meaning that I can trade with the Shattered Empire. So the requirements here is a Meditation Throne, impressiveness of 90, all floored with 2 braziers, 4 columns, a harp, and then my bed must be double with an end table and dresser, which obviously has not been met. So Sven, you are going to uninstall this bed and install this one. We'll have him set up his own bed here. So that is his new bed. And I'll get the dresser and all the columns required soon. All right. I know that they're not, well, here, let me do it like this. I'm trying to make it so the columns don't get in the way. I'll just put them next to the throne room. Or maybe behind it. Because of, you know, I'm going to want pianos and harpsichords and stuff like that in there as well. Exciting stuff. All right. The other thing I'm going to need here is... Wow, that's a really fancy looking throne. I like it a lot. All right, so we're going to want braziers. And I'm actually going to do dark light braziers. I'll put them like this. Hey, Trustin, can you just keep going? And we did have a transport pod crash of Yates. Lazy, nimble, psychically sensitive, and absolutely going to be captured. Bunny, my gal. Go capture Yates. It's too bad the tribute collectors are here now, because I would have liked to give Yates up later. Alright, looks to me like I might need a little bit more slate, so I'm going to bump slate up a bit. I might even have to make stone cutting a thing that everybody does, not just slaves. And now, when we have the braziers in there, I'm going to move the light source out. We don't need it lit by 4 objects. Alright, so here's Yates. And I'm going to tend to her, and we're going to set up to convert and then imprison. And I know I'm a little bit over time, but I'm trying to get to a point where we can do the Praetor ceremony as a stopping point. So if we take a look at this, I can now do it. So let's kick Yates. You're healed. Let's kick that off. Because I don't think I'm going to have fuel to keep these dark light braziers on for very long. All right. Sven, do the bestowing. Everybody in attendance. Our very small population of everybody. All right, it was a terrible ceremony. Oh man. Oh well, could have been better, but he did gain the rep that I wanted him to gain. So he received the Praetor title, it gives me some permits. I'm going to accept the squad permit and the strike permit and the salvo permit. And then also, it gives me vertical pulse, focus, and water skip. So I'm going to have his psi focus requirements be, let's say, just shy of 50%. And this is where I will end. Thank you for watching episode 11 of the Archotechs Swift Ascension. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to chat in real time, Rhadamant.com and the description of this video have a link to Discord, where you can join, sign up for announcements, and chat with me. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to all of my Patreon patrons and Twitch subscribers for supporting me as a content creator. Farewell, everybody.